Welcome Raider Nation and my champions, and the schedule has been released a few hours ago, and we're going to go over each individual game week to week for our Las Vegas Raiders. Hi Sandy B, how are you doing? Are you having a good day? Let's see if anybody else is here. Say hi in the chat. So we're going to we're going to look at the schedule in general first of all. Some of the things I like, some of the things I don't like, and then I'm going to go game by game and give you my prediction. Hey, my life, how you doing? I will give you my predictions on how I feel that this season's going to play itself out. Hey, Dominique, how you doing? All right, so let's take a look at the schedule here. So basically just have an Excel spreadsheet here. I made this up so you can see here weeks 1 through 18. So now we have 17 regular season games. I'm not going to worry about the preseason. Those are exhibitions anyway. 17 games and one bye week here in week 8. That's where you see me sitting here in the corner here. All right, so our opening game is going to be against the Baltimore Ravens at home on Monday Night Football, one of the Monday Night Football doubleheaders. We actually get, as of right now, 3 primetime games. This one, the one at Sophie Stadium against the Chargers on Monday night on October 4th, and then Sunday Night Football at home against the Chiefs. We also get a Thanksgiving game against the Cowboys. Hey, JoJo, how are you doing? We also get a Thanksgiving game here against the Cowboys. That's going to be a very interesting game as well. So I'm going to go over some of the predictions. So what I'm going to do here is each one of these boxes, I'm going to put a W a win or an L for a loss. And we'll just keep track here, kind of just like what they do in ESPN, those kind of other kind of websites. And I'm going to give you my explanations on why I think they're going to win or lose each game here. Okay, so let's start with the opening game against Baltimore. Yes, Sandy B. It looks like it, doesn't it? So let's take a look at the opening game against Baltimore. I think this one's going to be kind of a difficult game, and this is why. I think the running dimension of Lamar Jackson is going to be a problem for us. I know we do have some speed, but this is going to be our first real game with all these new players, and Baltimore is a playoff quality, playoff caliber squad here. I know they lost Yannick. He's with us now. Matt Judon's gone. But unfortunately, I think we'll play well, but I think we're going to come up a little bit short in this opening game. So I gave an L for this one. I know some people might disagree with that one, but week 2 at Pittsburgh. Here's what I think. I think Pittsburgh is on the decline right now. I don't think this team is nearly as good as what it used to be. I think it's a shell of its old self. And they play their opening game against Buffalo Bills, and I think that's going to be a very... Hey, Dark Wolf, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. I think this is going to be a lot much different outcome for them. This is going to be their home opener, but they played their opening game against Buffalo, and I think they're going to go 0-2. And I think they're not even going to make the playoffs this year. I think Cleveland's going to take that spot with Baltimore. And I'm going to give our guys a win here. We get a W here. Our next week, we get back at home against Miami. Now, if you guys remember last year, Miami, very frustrating game. If you saw my game replay, had a nice little rant on that. We had MNF is Monday Night Football, and SNF is Sunday Night Football, Sandy. So you have the dates here, and then like Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football here. So getting back to Miami, very frustrating game. At this point, we were technically still in the hunt for a playoff spot. And honestly, Fitzpatrick's not there. Honestly, I was not impressed with Tua. Not to say he's going to play exactly the same. He'll be in his second year, but I was not impressed with Tua. They were very stalled until Fitzpatrick came in and had some Fitzmagic, and then we, ripped his face mask off and gave him another 15, and they barely won it. So I think we get a bit of revenge here and get a W right here. So that takes us to 2-1. And then we get into week 4, Monday Night Football. We're going to be in LA at Sophie Stadium. this one's a very tough one to call, and that's because they have a whole new coaching staff. I think if Anthony Lynn was still there, I would give us the W just for his poor coaching alone. But this team, the Chargers, are kind of sneaky dangerous, and I really think they're gonna be on Monday night. They're gonna be at home, and they're gonna want to win. I think it's going to be a close game, another close game in the division, but I don't think we're going to pull this one out. I think we're going to take the loss here. It'll be another close game. So that takes us to 2-2. Next week we get the Bears. Much hoopla about this game because of Khalil Mack. I think that's the only thing, and we already played them before. And honestly, I think Justin Fields is going to be a good quarterback, but he'll probably start week 1. I'm not so sure he's completely ready yet after 5 games or 4 games. I think we bounce back and take the W here. I think we can run against this Bears team, and that'll be the difference, to be honest with you. Look for Kenyon Drake to have a good game here as well. So, sorry, Bears fans. Next week, we go into Mile High Stadium. Now, this one's going to be kind of tricky, and kind of explain why I chose. Well, I think we're going to lose this game, and I'll tell you why. A couple things. One, if you look at the Denver schedule, they start very easy, cupcake schedule. They've got the Giants, they have Jacksonville, they have the Jets, and then after that, they got to play Baltimore and Pittsburgh. And I think by that time, I think that's about the time where Drew Lock screws up enough and loses his job and Teddy Bridgewater comes in. Not to say Bridgewater's a world beater, but much better than Drew Lock. If Drew Lock is still in, I give us the W here, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be another one of those tough games. Remember, the defense is still good, and Von Miller's going to be back, so I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but I think we're going to probably lose out on a field goal at the end or something like that. This next week against Philly, NFC team coming here. I think we're going to want to have a good showing. And another good thing is that we have the bye week the week after, and teams generally like to play really hard before the bye week because coaches tend to, if they do win and win well, they'll tend to give the players that week off and then come back, the week before during week 9 to come back and practice. So, plus Jalen Hurts is there. I think they're still going to kind of feel their way around. And I think we're going to win this game. I think we're going to win this game big. I think this is where Carr comes out and starts loading up maybe 3 or 4 touchdowns in this game. All right. We go into the bye in week 8. We're 4-3, looking good. As a Raider fan, I got to put a WTF game here. And I think this is it. And I'll tell you why. We're going to come off a bye week. We're feeling good. We're going to travel to the East Coast or to East Rutherford. And somehow, I don't know how, we're probably going to lose this game. It just feels like that kind of a game for us. There's always at least one WTF game, and this is the one for us. We might be overlooking them as well, looking ahead to the Chiefs here in prime time. So I give us loss here. That puts us 4-4. Heading into week 10 against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football at home. We know we can play with these guys. We played them even both games, split. I think this is where we shine. I think this is where we take the win here. Not that it's going to be easy, but I'm going to say it's going to be about a 7-point win on that one. All right. So we're 5-4. We're still in the hunt for the division at this point because we beat the Chiefs. And then we face Cincinnati. Now you could say this might be a bit of a letdown after the Chiefs game. But also, not only that, I think Cincinnati's got a little bit of an aerial offense going, and they're rebuilding that line around Joe Burrow. I think this is going to be one of those games where we're going to be like, why did we lose this game? This could be a game where this will be the difference between the division and a wild card. I think we might have a little bit of a letdown here, so I'm going to put an L here. Then we go right into Thanksgiving against the Cowboys. I think we could play them pretty evenly, even with Dak back. But this is going to be 4 days. We're going to come off this loss. I'm going to give us another loss here. We typically have a little swoon at this time of year. So I'm going to give us a couple losses here, back-to-back 4 days. Then we get back home. We get basically 10 days to face Washington, which is really a very underrated team. Very strong. And I think what we're going to do in this game, Fitzpatrick's actually here, so we don't want to face him again. I think what we're going to do is just kind of control the ball and just kind of grind it out. We're going to use Jacobs. We're going to use Kenyon Drake, and we're just going to just push it. And that way we don't have to worry about that pass rush they have with Chase Young and all the other guys. So I think we're going to get a win here, bounce back. So that puts us at 6-6 for the season. We're still in the hunt. So now, okay, we're going to go into Arrowhead. Now, Kansas City is probably still upset that they lost the first game against us this year. They're also... They're really an L with number 12, week 12? Okay. So we're going to have to go into Arrowhead here. It's going to be December 12th. It's probably going to be cold. The Chiefs are going to want this game. They're not going to want to get swept by us. And they remember last year when we won in their stadium, the fans aren't going to be very happy about that. So, hey, Raid, how you doing? We're just going over the schedule, and I'm giving my predictions. Then you guys can give your predictions afterwards. So, at this point, we're 6-6. We're heading into Arrowhead Stadium with a chance to go after the division here. But I think this game, this time of year at Arrowhead, it's probably going to be snowing here in mid-December. So I think more times than not, we're probably going to lose that game, unfortunately. And then that gets us next week at Cleveland. Now, this was probably the hardest game for me on the whole lineup to predict, because you could kind of go either way with this one after we lose to KC. Last year when we lost to KC, we basically won one game, and it was kind of a miracle. But I know we've changed the defense. Everything's kind of different. Cleveland's very good. It would not surprise me if Cleveland was in the Super Bowl this year. I think that's how good they are, if they can kind of get it all together. And then we played them at the Mistake by the Lake. It's probably going to be crappy weather again like last year, where you're going to be playing in a tornado. Yeah, I'll talk about those. Well, I already talked about those, so we can go over it again after I'm finished, Raid. So I think this time they're going to want a little bit of revenge too, because they had their opportunities to win that game last year at home against us. So I think we're going to lose this one right here. So gives us 6-8. So now we kind of got our backs against the wall. What are we going to do? This is kind of, so we've got all this young talent. They've been through a lot this year. We're at 6-8. There's still a chance at a wild card here at this point. We did lose to Denver here in week 6, I said. I think we're going to come back and start winning though. So I'll give us a win here. We're going to go to Indianapolis. I am not scared of Carson Wentz whatsoever. Bam. And then it's going to come down here at home against the Chargers for a possible wild card berth. And I think we end up the season 9-8, and that probably gets us 6th or 7th seed. So what do you guys think about my predictions? So you wanted to talk about the Giants game? I said before, Raid, we always have at least one WTF type of a game. I think we win, we head into a bye feeling good, and then we go to the East Coast and kind of falter. That was my logic behind losing to the Giants. We always lose one or two, like this one or the Giants game, where it's like, why did we lose that game? It made no sense. So yeah, we're going to lose here and then come back and beat the Chiefs. That kind of makes sense with us. So I think we're going to go 9-8 and probably get a wild card. I pretty well agree with all the picks. Thanks, Dark Wolf. Appreciate it. But I want to know what you guys think. So tell me where you disagree or where you agree, well, mostly where you disagree with these picks and where you think where our record's going to be. Yeah, I think, well, my logic behind the Bengals is we're going to play really hard against the Chiefs and kind of have a letdown in this game. Plus, the Bengals are going to be coming off a bye week that week. So they're going to be well prepared for us. And I think they're going to kind of maybe sneak by and take one there. I think we sweep the Chargers and Broncos. All 4 games last year against both those teams were close. They could have gone either way. I mean, we very well could have gotten swept against the Chargers. Orfek, if it wasn't for Isaiah Johnson making a heck of a play at the end. We have to sweep the Broncos. I think we should win against the Giants and Bengals. Again, there's always 1 or 2 games during the season we look like, what the heck? How did we lose this game? And remember, guys, we have a really young defense. I know Gus Bradley's there, but it's going to take time to get these guys to gel. I mean, you could move one of these. I mean, like every season, you always have a game, 2, 3 games that could have went one way or the other. But this one kind of feels like a Raider game here. You come off the bye, you're feeling good, you're 4-3. You're coming up on this big game against the Chiefs at home, prime time, and you just kind of lay an egg. That kind of feels like a Raider type game. I think we beat the Chargers. Oh yeah, week 4 I gave the Raiders a loss because this is going to be on Monday night, and it's kind of a wild card because we got a whole new coaching staff with the Chargers. They have a lot of talent. I think their biggest issue, and I've talked about that in my Chargers video, is that they have the talent. The coaching was terrible. The decision making, the play calling, the adjustments during the game were awful. They did have some injuries down the stretch, but they should have been fighting for a playoff berth last year, and they weren't. I feel like we got better more than the Chargers have this offseason. The Chargers had a great draft, too. Had this offseason. Playing them in LA will be another home. Oh, yeah, it's going to be raucous, but I think it's going to be another close game. This could be a shootout between Herbert and Carr. That stadium, we will all have silver and black. Yeah, probably. I'm thinking like 80-20 Raider fans in there. I mean, we can change that one. I mean, but I think if we're going to lose, I mean, I'm trying to be realistic here. These are opportunities to lose. I mean, we could bounce back and win the Cleveland game there. I mean, at this point in the season, you don't really know as far as like injuries. Things that could happen, heaven forbid, Baker Mayfield could be out for the year with an injury and their backups in and, they're pretty much done. So we could win that game. Hopefully Herbert will have sophomore slump and Bradley will know his weaknesses. Yeah, that would be nice. Again, I think if you look at my Gus Bradley video, if you've looked at his other stops as defensive coordinator, the first season, you get a little modest gain. It's usually the second or third season where you see that big jump. And especially with all this young talent, and then we had the whole COVID thing last year and no real off season, and he's got a lot to work with right now. Let's see how the Chargers defense holds up. I'm high on the Chargers though, but yeah, the Chargers are pretty balanced. I'm wondering how that offensive line's going to hold up for them. But I mean, they did pick Slater in the draft, but that's one guy out of 5. But I mean, they have a lot of talent, especially on the defensive side. I think Herbert looked like the real deal, obviously, last year. Denver. I said my logic behind this loss was we're going to go to Mile High. And Denver has a real kind of a, yeah, let's talk about that. Denver has a real cupcake type of a schedule. Like the first 3 games, they play the Giants, Jacksonville, and the Jets, and then they play Baltimore and Pittsburgh. And I think at that point, that's where they bench Drew Lock and put in Bridgewater. And remember, these games have been close. Even with Drew Lock in there, these games have not been blowouts with us here. So I think Bridgewater will probably make the difference in a close game. I'm not saying he's, Aaron Rodgers or anything, but he's not going to make those silly mistakes that Drew Lock did. So I could see us losing like by a field goal at the end here or something like that in Mile High. Yeah, I don't understand why everyone is expecting us to have a top defense all of a sudden. Bradley's no magician. It'll take some time. Yeah, and I said that in the video. It's going to be about 2 to 3 years. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the DBs. I think they went out in free agency, got interior line. They went and got Yannick. They got another pass rusher in Malcolm Kuntz in the draft. I think the DBs are the big kind of thing that's up in the air. Are they going to be good or not? Do you think our defense will get? Oh yeah, I said I think we were 24th or 25th last year, total yards. I'm going to say we're about around 20, so a modest increase. Doubt we lose to NYC and the Bengals. Yeah, those are kind of WTF kind of games, to be honest. Those are kind of the Raider games. I know we lose 1 or 2 every year. It's like, how did we lose to this team? Plus, I said we're coming off the bye. We just kind of lay an egg. We're waiting around for the Chiefs here. So that was my logic behind that. Honestly, the defense can't get any worse. We can only go, well, there are 32 teams where we're, I think, 24th or 25th. So it could get worse. But I mean, to me, we got Yannick Ngakoue and we couldn't rush the passer. So we got that. We got Malcolm Kuntz. Max Crosby, hopefully should be healthy. He's not going to play with a torn labrum in his shoulder. Like Washington is solid, but the Bengals aren't. Yeah. Well, yeah, I went week to week. I'm going based on, I'm not saying, well, this team's better than this team's better than this team. I'm going, and I kind of looked at what their schedules were doing as well. If they had a bye week before, like the Bengals did, the Bengals have a bye week here. So I'm going to say we're going to win in prime time here against the Chiefs. And then the Bengals are going to have a bye week in week 10 and have that whole week ready for us. This one's going to be a war for us. So that's why I said that's probably a game we could lose. And then we have 10 days here to face Washington. I think we're gonna want to lean on our running game here and try to diffuse that pass rush they have. If our offense stays the same or gets better and our defense plays better, then I don't see us taking those losses. Yeah, I mean, it's a prediction. I mean, as far as we go, I mean, I think I would say 9 to 11 wins is probably reasonable. I don't see any more than that right now, especially with all the changes on defense. You never know, though. I mean, I said this before in my draft video with Malcolm Kuntz. I think you watch. That's going to be one of my predictions with Kuntz this year. He's going to seal a game for us. Like, we're going to be leading one of these games like by 7 points or something. And the other team's got the ball late in the fourth quarter. They're trying to drive, and he's going to come off the edge and get a strip sack. We're going to get the turnover, and just that's it. We basically sealed the game at that point. I think Kuntz gets us at least one win like that this year. Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to be realistic too. Should we lose against the Giants? I'm going to say no. Remember, Barkley's coming back from that knee injury. He's probably not going to be 100% anyway. Daniel Jones is kind of hot and cold. The defense is pretty good. Leonard Williams, I wish we could have got him, but I'm trying to be realistic here, especially I kind of know this team. We have kind of swoons in the second half of the season. I mean, we lost 7 of 8 last year, I believe, or 6 of 8, and then 6 of 8 the year before. So So if you look here, 2, 4, 6, 8, we lose 4. We were 4-4 the last 8 games. So that's actually an improvement since the last couple of years. As long as they switch up between passes and runs, should be okay. One problem that a lot of teams have is they tend to use the other more heavily. Yeah, Dark Wolf. That's what I like about. We picked up running back Kenyon Drake, and I think I would love, what I hope is that they use him as a committee with Josh Jacobs, almost like a 50-50 split, because it seems that Jacobs kind of wears down during the season, and the other guys, Booker's been okay, but he's not Kenyon Drake, And we're paying Kenyon Drake essentially $500,000 more this year than Booker got with the Giants to basically be a backup. That's money well spent. Plus, Kenyon Drake can catch the ball out of the backfield, which makes Jalen Richard expendable. This is realistic. I would choose the Giants or Bengals as a loss, but only one, and give us another job. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, Raid. Okay, so we'd be 10-7. I feel our defense should earn us another 2 games of wins at least, so somewhere around 10-11 wins. Honestly, Safwan, I want to be a little bit more realistic with that, with the new coach and a lot of young talent. I mean, they could gel right away and be great, obviously, but it doesn't tend to be that way. You tend to see a little bit of an improvement, and then like year 2, year 3 is a big improvement. Docs and Honcho was saying Kenyon Drake would have more receptions than Renfro. What do you think? It's possible, to be honest, because Willie Snead's in the mix now. So is Renfro going to lose the top slot spot? Maybe. I think look for Foster Moreau this year. I think Waller's always going to be a top target, and he's going to be the first guy defenses try to stop in the passing game. But I'm gonna say we're gonna see a little more Foster Moreau. We're gonna see 2-3 tight end sets, and like I've said before, I'm gonna say 40 catches, 400 yards, and 4 touchdowns for Moreau this year. Plus, as you pointed out, there's always, with the Raiders, they always lose 1 or 2 games, and you're just kind of scratching your head like, what the hell happened, And this could be it. I mean, right after we have a good win against the Chiefs at home, oh yeah, we got the Bengals, no problem. Something happens, we have a couple turnovers, something stupid, and there you go. A win turns into a loss. Unleash Foster. I think they're going to. There's no more Jason Witten in the mix, so he should be getting more playing time. I think we can do better than 500 in the division. Hope so. Yeah. I mean, I would say you could probably change one of these. I wouldn't go to both of them. So we could go 4-2 in the division. I think that's realistic. We went 4-2 last year. I think there's room for that big kind of jump into defensive production because they have a historic bad defense. Not like it can get much worse. I think guts can be. Yeah. Like I said, Yannick, and when I did the Yannick video, one of the stats I used, I put Yannick's career, and then I put it up against the leading Raider defenders stats. So it's different players year to year, and they were pretty much the same. I think Yannick even had a slight edge. I mean, even with Khalil Mack, he was putting up those kinds of numbers back then. Or you get a referee that knows how to call a game correctly. Yeah, or you get a referee that uses a friggin' index card to determine a first down again against Dallas. Remember that last time against Dallas? Now that idiot's with, I think, CBS. He's the officiating guru. Gene Stenator basically threw the game for Dallas at that time. Okay. Yeah, I know Docs and Honcho, and they had shows like at 5 o'clock on the dot. I came on at 8 Pacific time. A couple reasons. One, I usually come on at 8 o'clock. And two, I wanted to take a look at the schedule and try to work it out and look at the other team's schedule and see, you know, are we going to win or lose certain games? Try to make it a little more realistic. Again, I mean, you get, especially in the second half of the season, you don't know what's going to happen as far as injuries and all kinds of things, but I'm just kind of going by, okay, this team had a bye. Okay, this team had really two hard games. Another one for Chicago is that there's, you know, they try to gin up this Khalil Mack rivalry, but you know who Chicago plays the next week, right? The Packers. That's their rival, not us. So, you know, it's ridiculous. That's another reason why I put a W here. I think with the 9-8 record, we should be able to get one of those wild card spots, either the 6th or the 7th. Um, it's a little concerning, especially with this loss here, with the Browns, and I think the Chargers. They're, like I said, they're a bit of a wild card. I think they could very well be in the hunt for a playoff spot this year. The donkeys are overhyped, but I think with Bridgewater in there, they get a better chance. I don't know what's other than the contract with Drew Lock, which is basically still on his rookie contract. I don't see why they're still with him. To be honest, if you look at the stats, it makes zero sense at this point. I'm really surprised they didn't go after a rookie quarterback early in the draft. I know they went and got Bridgewater. We'll see. I mean, I think it's an upgrade, but I don't think. I think they probably would have been better suited to pick Justin Fields if they could go get him a guy like that or move up. Let's see. Same for the Chargers. Herbert can easily have a sophomore slump. Yeah, but the Chargers have a lot more talent across the board, I think. I'm surprised Renfro has been successful. Why? He has great hands. Third and Renfro. I'm not surprised at all. He takes a lot of hits, though. And I said that in the last video I did with the summary and the roster. Maybe it was kind of crazy like a Fox because they didn't draft a punt returner. So he's going to be still returning punts. He's going to be getting hit over the middle. So getting Willie Snead was probably actual good move there. Fangio's a pretty bad play caller. Yeah, well, I would say that's part of it, but Drew Lock is a terrible quarterback. Yeah, you said that, Dominique. Will you be going to any games? Yeah, I got to take a look at this now to see which. I'm going to go to at least one game. I was hoping to go to the Cleveland game because that is on my birthday, but that is in Cleveland, so I would rather not go to that crappy town, especially in December. So I'm going to have to take a look at the schedule. If I had to guess right now, that last game against the Chargers, that would be fun. Be in January, be nice and cool in Vegas too. What region do I live? I live in Southern California. I live about 4 hours away from Vegas. 4-hour drive. So yeah. Raider Nation down here has never left, even when they left back to Oakland. So yeah, they're the top team here, not the Rams, not the Chargers. Let's see. Denver game would be nice, but that's around Christmas time. Vegas gets real crazy about that time of year. Chiefs game on Sunday night. It's probably about it. I mean, the other teams I don't really care a whole lot about, to be honest. Probably a divisional team. So why don't you guys give me your predictions on what our win loss record's going to be overall? So put it in the chat below here. So give me your win loss record. We can talk a little bit about that. You think the Raiders still fill up Vegas? Chris is saying it's always going to have a ton of foreign team fans. There's a lot of Raider fans in Vegas as well. And there's a lot of Raider fans making the trip up from SoCal and flying in from NorCal. So are there going to be contingents of other teams? Sure. Especially like, we played the Packers, those kind of diehard type teams, Buffalo. You're going to get the Bills Mafia. I have a lot of respect for those fans. Very loyal. Probably get Chiefs fans, of course, when we play the Chiefs. Denver's not that far away, so we could see that. I'd say Chargers, but no, they really don't have, honestly, they have some here like in the LA area, but I know a lot of the Charger fans in San Diego got pissed because they left and they're like, well, screw you, because Spanos was, playing his little games. They really wanted to keep the Chargers in San Diego. 11-6. So you're going to change, Safwan, which one would you change? The Giants and one of the divisional games, I'm guessing? Or Giants-Cincy to wins? Yeah, realistically, I see us winning 19. Yeah, I'll say 9-11. I think the defense is a huge wild card right now, especially the DBs. I think we're initially gonna look better because we're gonna have a better pass rush. Yeah. So the Giants and Bengals, yeah. But as a Raider fan, we're gonna dump one of those games, one of those stupid games against a team we shouldn't lose to. It's bound to happen. Maybe the Chargers game. Well, I just want to be realistic, I don't. Oh yeah, we're gonna go, 17-0, and I'll be more optimistic in year 2 with Gus. And Winston's right. Yeah. And you never know. I mean, some of the, we'll get a bounce here or there, one way or the other. That happens sometimes. You always get a couple wins you shouldn't have had, like the Jets. We should have lost that game. They were 0-12 at the time, 0-11, and we got some miracle to Ruggs to win the game. That was a joke. We had no business winning that game. And then Miami was the opposite. We should have won that game. We screwed it up. It's just how the season goes, And of course, injuries, So what are the anybody I don't know, the schedule just came out, so I'm wondering what like the pundits and all the ESPN folk think we're going to do. They're usually not very kind to the Raiders, but Atlanta was a scary game to watch for us. Every play I thought we'd lose. This is what I mean. I mean, Atlanta's defense, I think, was ranked 32nd. Like the worst. I think they were ranked the worst defense last year. I could be wrong, but their defense was worse than ours last year, and they like dominated us. This is what I'm talking about. It's like that came out of left field. Yeah, that's what I thought. 32nd. That came out of left field. You get a couple of these. That's what I'm saying. Some of these you're going to kind of get out of left field. This one out of all of them, I could go back and forth on, to be honest. This one right here, the Browns, 12-5. Wow. Hey Quan, nice coming in. Which games would you change on my board then? We need to change 3 losses then. If we're going to go to 12-5, which one would you change? Yeah, Dominique, I would say 9-11 wins, depending on how the ball bounces. I know, like the 2016. I mean, that was kind of the high end. I mean, we went 12-4. We had a couple wins by Mac by himself. He made Cam Newton look stupid, getting that easy pick six. So it could kind of go either way. You could get snake bit or you could have a lot of good luck. Yeah, it seems like the schedule. I don't know. I think the front end to me it seems a little bit more difficult, kind of getting out of the blocks. I mean, Miami, playoff contender. I think the Steelers are going to fade this year. They've been a perennial contender, but I think they're Baltimore, obviously, playoff contender. Chargers have a lot of talent. Chicago playoff type wildcard contender there. So I think those first few games, and then we have the Chiefs. Washington's a very, very solid team. The Chiefs, the Browns. It would not surprise me if the Browns ended up in the Super Bowl, or at least the AFC Championship game. We had the 7th hardest schedule, by far the hardest in the division. Denver has the top 3 easiest schedules. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying right here. That kind of gave me credence because they played the Giants, Jacksonville, and the Jets the first 3 games. And then they play Baltimore and Pittsburgh, and that's when I think they make the change at quarterback. You would change the Chargers week 4. And Cowboys. Wow, the Cowboys and the Bengals. Okay. I don't know about that Chargers or the Cowboys one. I think 4 days going there on a Thanksgiving game. And I'm assuming Dak's going to be back. And they're going to be, on all cylinders. That could be another shootout type game. Their defense isn't that great. So it could be a high scoring game. Yep, Pittsburgh's going to have a hard. Yeah. Another team I was kind of surprised. I talked about maybe them moving up to 17 to get a quarterback if Mac Jones was still there with the Raiders. I could have seen Steelers moving up. That would have been a great deal for us because that we could have moved down I think they were at 21, 22, and we still would have had Alice Leatherwood and more picks. Dallas doesn't play well at home though. We'll see. That's a huge game. That's a huge game for the TV fans too. Our defense is about to put every quarterback on their ass. I like it. I think, like I said, I think it's going to take a little bit of time to gel, but with a healthy Max Crosby, Unique in the mix, and then Malcolm Kuntz on 3rd down, it's going to be a little scary. Now, plus if one of those guys on the inside pans out, like say Solomon Thomas was the number 3 pick at one point, say he pans out at that and brings interior pressure. Oh my goodness. Even the Ravens instead Cowboys. We can beat the Ravens. I don't know. That's the first week of a real game with all these guys against a seasoned team and a pretty good head coach in John Harbaugh. On Monday night, no, I wouldn't change that one. I mean, you could change some of these other ones, like these WTF games, maybe a division game, but I'm not so sure about this one. Can't wait till Raiders week 1 Monday Night Football. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it, but I think Lamar Jackson's gonna run for 150 yards and a couple touchdowns, something crazy. He's gonna do something crazy and beat us at the end or something. It's not going to be his arm. I don't think he can pass very well, but he has that ability. The RPO, that's going to be a problem. Remember the RPO against the Chargers when Carr got hurt last year against Gus? They didn't know what to do with it. You know, and then we went away from it when we were in the red zone against the Chargers. I was like, what? What are you doing? Keep it up. We had Mariota and Jacobs, and they had no idea what they were going to do. Raiders are 16-1. You tripping? Hey, if they go 16-1, I'll come on here and apologize to you, Oakland Raiders, because I would be happy as a pig in slop if they went 16-1 this year. I don't see it happening, but that would be awesome. That would be great. Anybody else have any predictions for the season based on what you see here on the schedule? I mean, yeah, I mean, realistically, I could probably put this one as a win, and then the Washington one maybe as a loss, because Washington's real solid. That's not going to be an easy game, even though we had 10 days to prepare. It's not going to be an easy game. I think it's going to be a shootout against the Ravens, Week 1, 30-27 Raiders. Oh, I hope so. I hope I'm wrong. But it's hard to bet against a team that's been together a while versus a team that's just getting together, plus all the young talent on defense. It's tough, and I hope we get a full off season this year too. You know, no more COVID nonsense, so we get a full training camp, full preseason games. We need it. We have too much young talent, and a new coach, new DC with a new system, and we need this. So that's, I mean, I got to pump the brakes on this against this. You know what? I would say other than the Chiefs, I would rather face any other team on this list Week 1 than the Baltimore Ravens, just because of Lamar Jackson and that running ability. I think it's going to cause us problems with that young defense. Can you predict a depth chart for wide receivers? Well, I did put it out on the video, right? So I have on the video, I had Ruggs and John Brown starting. But I mean, they go to base sets. They go to 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, three tight ends. So it's not like who's gonna necessarily start. But those are the top 2 I think are gonna start. But I do think Bryan Edwards is gonna kind of come out at some point in this season. I think he's just too talented not to be honest. We need to stop the run game and contain Lamar. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's easier said than done, though, right? You know? That's easier said than done. It's like you can control. I think you can either kind of control Lamar or the running backs. It's going to be hard to do both. Lamar might fumble a few times. Farrell's going to strip him. I hope so. I'd love to see Cleveland Farrell get some strip sacks. I'd like to see Lamar against like Yannick or Malcolm Kuntz. See if he can run past him. That would be very interesting. Again, I think that matchup. It's just the wrong. To me, it's just the wrong team to play Week 1 for us. And I'd rather have a few weeks of real games in before we play a team like that. Any blowout games. I'm going to say the Philly game's going to be a blowout for us. Maybe the Colts game. I think the other ones are going to be pretty close. Hopefully we don't get blown out, but you never know. We usually have more like one terrible game. There are only 3 preseason games, right? Yes. They came out with the preseason schedule too, and it's going to be Seattle, the Rams, and the Niners we play in preseason. 3 games. I saw a stat that Brian Edwards is highest ranked and youngest college athlete ever tested. I think he was 17 years, 3 weeks old in his first college game. Really? I didn't know he was that young starting in college. Yeah, I think he's our wide receiver one by next season. That's a bold statement with Ruggs there. I know we picked Ruggs high, but I think he's solid. From what I've seen, I wish, like I said, I wish they would have played him a little bit more near the end of the year when we're out of it. It's kind of weird. The whole back end of the season was really weird. You know, even after losing that KC game, that second game, everything kind of the wheels fell off. Everything was kind of weird. Can't wait till the last preseason game, Raiders Niners. What the starters are going to play like a half or something, you know. And they're not going to really do any kind of crazy plays. They're just going to show you base lineups. So I think if anything, it's for this young talent to just get on the field. These guys need experience. See, that's another reason why I'm worried about this game here, this week 1 game, because this is a very seasoned team. They've been a perennial playoff contender for years now. I mean, you know, even going back, they've won a couple Super Bowls, but you know, and then that dimension with Lamar Jackson running like crazy. He gives you something. He does that even better than Mahomes. I mean, I like Mahomes better overall, obviously. Mahomes is he's like a shortstop out there throwing the ball sidearm and stuff, and he's pretty accurate for the most part. But Lamar can run. He's faster. He's faster than Mahomes. And it's just that wrinkle, you know. It's going to be problems with us. It's going to be problems for this defense week 1, and I hope they don't get discouraged, you know. I think week 2 is I would have rather seen this. I would rather went on the road against the Steelers week 1, had Baltimore at home week 2. To be honest, that's more of a conventional type, you know, Big Ben trotting around in the pocket kind of thing that better suits a young team trying to get their feet wet, so to speak. All right. All right. So I'm going to say, if anybody has anything else, we're going to kind of close this one out here. If you have any suggestions, you can make them now. I'll make a note of that. I do plan on doing like a weekly type of a football show, a live stream type of a show, especially once we get closer and into the season itself. I think that makes more sense. Right now, you know, we just had the draft and then the schedule's released. I mean, unless something crazy happens, you know, Aaron Rodgers, something like that, it's not going to be a whole lot of big news. And I'm not the type to, you know, put stuff down as far as, oh yeah, you know, this rumor and that rumor. It's like, I mean, why stir the pot unless there's something really happening there? So, but I would like to do like a weekly show. I'm also going to start doing some fantasy football material as well, since we're getting into that season as well. I do appreciate you guys coming out. This was great. This was fun again. I like doing these kinds of things where we can kind of go through information and data like the mock drafts or like this schedule and kind of put the wins and losses and put reasoning behind it. I think that's kind of fun. And plus it's a little more visual than just kind of talking about it. I like that a little bit more. So I do appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you. And as always, go Raiders.